Or for literature that not only feeds the mind, but nourishes the soul as well? Do you want to be inspired, feel positive and hopeful about life? Then read The Windhover, the official magazine of the Jesuits in the Philippines. Written by Jesuits and their lay partners, The Windhover features real stories about the Jesuits and their various ministries. Be inspired. Be blessed. Subscribe to The Windhover. For inquiries, call the Philippine Jesuit Aid Association at telephone numbers 426-6001, locals 4890 or 4892. Once again, Philippine Jesuit Aid Association, telephone numbers 426-6001, locals 4890 or 4892.
Rejoice, refresh, renew, and reflect. Join us for an hour of music that uplifts the soul. Listen to your favorite Jesuit music ministry artists. This is JMM Radio. Get your day's dose of inspirational music. Tune in to JMM Radio every Wednesday, only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Palalimin ang kamalayan sa mga isyong napapanahon. Makisangkot at makiisa kasama ang simbahang lingkod ng bayan. Ang Socio-Political Apostolate ng Kapisanan ni Jesus. Ito ang Kwentuhang Bayan mula alas 11 ng umaga tuwing Biyernes dito lang sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Dahil naniniwala kami na posible ang isang mas mabuting lipunan at maaari itong simulan sa isang kwentuhan. Mamangha sa lalim at ganda ng ating kultura at diwang makabayan, sa mga salita at pahina, sa tulong ng mga guro at manunulat ng panitikang Pilipino. Halina't tuklasin ang yaman ng ating panitikan, ang pamana ng ating lahi. Kasama si Binibining Andrea Trinidad, Ginoong Jethro Tenorio at Ginoong Yol Hamendang ng Kagawaran ng Filipino ng Pamantasang Ateneo de Manila. Ito ang Sari-Sari, ang Catholic Mass Media Awards Special Citation Awardee para sa pinakamagaling na palatuntunang pang-edukasyon sa radyo. Dito sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle.
Radyo, 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 Radyo Katipunan. Radyo Katipunan. Radyo Katipunan. Radyo, Radyo, Radyo Katipunan. Radyo, Radyo, Radyo Katipunan. Sa Blue Eagle kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay at tenista sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng eskwela. Radyo, Radyo, Radyo Katipunan. Radyo, Radyo, Radyo Katipunan. Radyo Katipunan. Radyo Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugod, todo sa kayod, tulong at tulong. Lipat na Blue Eagle, kaning giting nagigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, Radyo, Radyo Katipunan. Radyo, Radyo, Radyo Katipunan. Radyo Katipunan. Radyo Katipunan. Radyo, Radyo, Radyo Katipunan. Radyo Katipunan.
Welcome to RK Sports, where we take you right into the action with the highlights, insights, and analysis of the sports scene in, around, across, and beyond the Ateneo. With your hosts, Anthony Perez and Mookie Borja. Katipunan. Game on.
Alright, what is up, Blue Eagle Nation? This is Anthony once again bringing you another exciting edition of Radyo Katipunan Sports on this Thursday afternoon. We are live via Radyo Katipunan on Facebook, on YouTube, and 87.9 on your FM band. And joining me as always is the young fella, Mookie B.
Hi, Anthony.
Mookie, we are back in the studio, and today is gonna be quite jam-packed for us.
Yes.
With news dropping in earlier this morning, and things happening left and right. But just like we did last episode, we started things off with a little bit of some UAAP basketball off-season news.
Yes.
And last episode, we covered how J-House decommitted from our friends on the other side of Katipunan, and now he's switched things over back home over here to the blue side of things. However, UP looks like they're going to be sticking with their main man at the helm.
Yes.
For the next 5 more years. We're talking about University of the Philippines extending Coach Goldwyn Morteverde's contract.
I mean, no-brainer for Coach Gold. Well-deserved. He brought the championship back to Diliman after so long. And he's the right man for the job. He gets the players he wants, and he coaches them extremely well. His connection with the NU high school program from when he was the head coach there has been extremely useful for them these past few years. And I think Bo Peresol trusts Coach Gold so much as, the lead tactician, opposite our coach Tab Baldwin, and now champion as well, Coach Topek. So I don't think those 3 coaches, obviously they respect one another, but they really want to see how they contend against each other's teams and who can be the better coach. Because there are times that, as great as of a Coach Tab is, there are some games where you can see Coach Gold out coaches him like really.
Yeah.
It's far and away. UP has the better team, and that showed last season. So extremely well deserved for Coach Gold, and I'm looking forward to more matches with him at the other side of the bench.
Especially, when you have the notoriety of bringing State U its first title since 1986, like automatically that positions you on the elite tier of UAP coaches. Like no one can take that away from you. Diba? Parang regaining that lost glory for UP, and I mean, he followed it up with back-to-back silver finishes, diba? In the UAP wars. And also, under Coach Gold, you've seen the development of really, quality basketball talent. Diba, you mentioned from carrying over from the Nazareth schools, sila Carl Tamayo, add the Xavier Lucero to the mix,
Yes.
JD Cagulangan's emergence, and of course, CJ Cancino.
Oh yes, the re-emergence of CJ after leaving UST. They gave him the keys to their offense, and he was lethal for them, for Coach Gold and for the Fighting Maroons. So, I mean, Coach Gold, just in terms of his demeanor, he's very soft-spoken. Like, you can see on the court, you don't see him shouting all the time. He's really just calm, collected. But he has a hold of his team, in the locker room and during practices, and especially during the games, you can see it. So, yeah, also, props to Bo Peresol, for keeping Coach Gold, in his pocket. So, hopefully more battles once again for UP and their successful program. There's nothing, you can't deny how successful they've been under Coach Gold. So,
And again, diba, last time we talked about how it's the overall quality of coaching present in the UAP that makes the league what it is.
Yes.
Diba? And you could see, you mentioned us with Tab,
yeah.
De La Salle with Coach Topex, now UP with Coach Gold. I mean, not to say we're the main catalyst of this, but parang did you notice that once Tab Baldwin entered the UAP,
Yeah.
every other school had to upgrade their coaching
Their
as well.
coaching, yes. Because
Just to match up with the battle of the wits.
you could tell, like, the earlier, the dynasty years of Ateneo, you know, we were just so ahead of everyone. You could see, like, double-digit leads every game. You know, our point differential from the rest of the 7 teams were just far and away. We were clearly the best team. So everyone had to upgrade their, you know, not just head coach, but, you know, the strength and conditioning coaches, their trainers, their facilities. They really had to, you know, meet our, you know, level with Coach Tab at the helm. So, you know, I can't wait for Coach Gold to like, get more players. He's an excellent recruiter as well. He develops young players really well. I wouldn't say it's a shame that he didn't get Jared Bahay because, you know, he's back in where he's back where he belongs. So, yeah, but he is still so many weapons on that UP team for next season. So, you know, I can't wait. I can't wait to see him. I'm very happy he's still there because there's no other coach, you know, you want to face the best of the best talaga.
And for Coach Tab, diba, parang game on.
Yeah.
Like from the other side of the bench, diba? Seeing Coach Gold, okay, you're gonna be back. You're gonna be back with the Maroons. I'm still here with the Blue Eagles, diba?
Yeah.
Parang may the best mind win come UAP time.
Yep.
And okay, so UP, congratulations. You guys are sticking with Coach Gold. We got Coach Tab.
Yep.
Can't wait to see you in UAP season 87.
Let's go. I mean, we said last week that there would be more news about the upcoming UAP basketball seasons, and here we go. I think we're gonna get way more news.
And also pala, CJ Cancino, good luck with the MPBL.
Oh yeah, MPBL. He signed, yes.
Although, Mookie, no, pero it just crossed my mind na, wasn't CJ Cancino's UAP prime? It was with UST. Like, the way I see it,
Yeah.
like, because in UP he was derailed by a few injuries here and there, but UST was like, with him and Renza Bando and those
Mark Nonoy, yeah. I mean, they went to the championship with him, you know. He under another great coach, Coach Alden Ayo, you know. He was able to harness all that energy, that young energy of Abando, Mark Nonoy, and CJ Cancino. But I think you're not wrong to say that, but he was a really important part for them winning the championship in UP.
Yeah.
You know, he was coming off an injury, and I think he made like 3 threes in that game that just sunk Ateneo. The last one, I think, being just like a Hail Mary 3 that hit the board. So, you know, they wouldn't have won without him. So, I guess you could still say that maybe that was past his prime, but he was definitely a very key player in winning that championship for you.
Oh, we don't want to bring that up again.
that was a
Wag
painful.
na, wag na. Okay, all right. So, moving on. Okay, we've concluded that part about the UAP. Now it's time for the heavy news. Right? So, okay, Mookie and I, in anticipation of the NBA trade deadline in just 3 weeks, February 8th.
February 8th, yep.
NBA trade deadline. So, Mookie and I are going over the hottest names mentioned in trade rumors. We're gonna go over teams that need to make a move, must make a move to save their season, if it will. And we'll also sort of give our own recommendations for pieces to target for these teams, no? And first things first, we'll go over a deal that just went down this morning.
Breaking news.
And that was the Indiana Pacers acquiring the talents of all-star forward Pascal Siakam in a trade that sends Bruce Brown and Jordan Nwora and 3 first-round picks to the Toronto Raptors, as reported by ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski. And as part of a separate trade, the New Orleans Pelicans sent Kyra Lewis Jr. and a 2024 second-round pick to the Pacers. So, the Pacers then shipped Lewis to the Raptors, as sources told ESPN. So, okay. Let's break down Pascal headed to Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately, Mookie, it reminded me of how they were in the finals of the in-season tournament.
Yes.
and Aaron Nesmith, using all 6'5" of him, couldn't guard LeBron one bit.
I mean,
One bit.
the Pacers couldn't guard anyone on that team, and especially the bigs. You know, Anthony Davis dominated that in-season tournament finals. So, for them to add, you know, a guy like Pascal Siakam, who he's a champion. I think he's a 5'2" player. He can do anything on the court. He can score, rebound, assist. He likes to run. An interesting stat that I learned about this was the number one transition offense in the league this season was Toronto. Guess who the number 2 transition team was? Indiana. So, I mean, it's a match made in heaven. Pascal Siakam was leading the league in transition points as well.
Yeah.
So for them to add more firepower to this, you know, already historic Indiana Pacers offense is such a great move for them. And you know, we have to wait a little to see Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal because Tyrese is still hurt because of his hamstring injury. But Siakam's gonna make an immediate impact on Indiana because of just how he fits that system and style of play that Rick Carlisle plays with the Pacers.
Right. So, let's go over to the defensive end first, where immediately Pascal, just because of his size and length, at 6'8", 6'9", now Indiana has a cover guy for incredibly high-scoring wings like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, even heck, a Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler.
If you want him to guard Giannis for a pinch,
Maybe.
he might shadow him a bit. But immediately Pascal is a major upgrade over Obi Toppin, who is at the 4. Who is I mean Obi Toppin can jump out of the gym. He's very athletic. But Obi Toppin has very stiff hips. He cannot, you know,
move,
keep in step with these types of wings. And also, if you take a look at their other bigs in that Indiana rotation, Isaiah Jackson, he can guard 5.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he can guard down the line.
He's pretty mobile, but he's not like you're right. He's not Scotty Barnes or, you know, another young forward, like, you know, who can run like as fast as, you know, Scotty Barnes or Pascal Siakam.
Right. So immediately Pascal really helps in that aspect, guarding the big high scoring wings of teams in the Eastern Conference. Now, over on the offensive side of the floor, you mentioned that Indiana likes to run, and I can't wait for, you know, Tyrese Halliburton dropping fast break times over to Pascal. That's gonna be fun to watch.
I mean, we've already seen a couple of 20-point, 20 assist games for Tyrese this season, and I can't wait for him to just have another all-star caliber player. Like, no offense to his teammates on Indiana, but there aren't really all-star level players, and Pascal Siakam is that. You know, he can score when he wants to. His patented spin move layup, you know, it still works most of the time, as much as defenses and coaches already have it down, marked it down. But Tyrese is just so gifted with running the floor, pushing the pace, and finding people who are open. And Pascal can benefit so much from that. And, you know, they're number 6 in the East right now.
7 actually as we speak.
7.
They're right below the Miami Heat.
All right.
Who's at number 6?
Okay. So they're in the play-in tournament, but that will change once all of them get healthy. But for them to be there in that level, you know, without Pascal Siakam, but when you add him, you kind of put them on a level with Miami, with maybe Philadelphia, you know. Especially the Bucks right now, who we might come up later as one of the teams who need to make a move. Because, you know, in terms of depth in the East, there's really Boston. Boston is really, you know, the best team in the league. They're above everyone else. And then everyone just trying to get that home court advantage, trying to see who they match up well against. And with this addition with this Pascal Siakam addition, I think the Pacers can match up better against a lot of those bigger, better Eastern Conference teams.
Right. And just going over the standings that we have right now, Mook, no? So in the East, 1, 2, 3, Celtics, Bucks, and Sixers, respectively. 4, 5, 6, Cavs, Knicks, and Heat. And on the outside, just on the cusp of that, are the Indiana Pacers at number 7. Immediately, who do you think they will, or will they dislodge from that 4, 5, 6 slot? Cavs, Knicks, or Heat? With the addition of Pascal.
I think the Cavs right now are just playing really well. Since they got Donovan Mitchell back, he's playing extremely well. They're on a win streak right now. I think they've won 7 in a row because they beat Milwaukee this morning. So, winners of 7 in a row, but they still are missing 2 of their young, talented players, Darius Garland and Evan Mobley. And they will miss a lot of time. So, I'm not sure if they can keep this up. Let's see how Donovan Mitchell, proven star, let's see how he can carry... Sorry. He can carry his team, but I see Indiana being a lot better. Not just on paper, but style of play. I think they can easily get the Cleveland Cavaliers back to the play-in spot.
And interestingly, Cleveland does not have a big wing.
Mm-hmm.
They're purely guards and bigs.
Yes.
That's it. So, I guess positional advantage goes to Indiana in that aspect. But, Mokno, we were talking about this. The best part about acquiring Pascal is that they didn't have to lose their other wings.
Yeah. That was really... I was surprised when I saw it this morning. I was like, they didn't have to get rid of Benedict Mathurin. They didn't have to get rid of Buddy Hield. Bruce Brown's a veteran, a winner. It was champion. Surprising that, they gave him all this money to bring him to Indiana and then they ship him out to Toronto. But I guess that's the price you pay, because you get another champion back with size that you really need. And, I think Bruce Brown, I'm not sure if he's going to stay in Toronto. If he will, then Toronto has a piece. But if Toronto's looking to rebuild a little bit, then Bruce Brown is one of the players. I think all 29 teams in the NBA want Bruce Brown on the roster. Just he's a winner. He plays the right way, and but Indiana's core starting 5, and I think their top 7 guys, except for of course Bruce Brown, are still there. So you add Pascal to that. It's just size, scoring. Not that they need any scoring. I think they scored 150 points in regulation earlier this season. So I just can't wait. This makes the Eastern Conference race really interesting as well, because you never know. Injuries play a big part in the standings. So, and we're seeing that now with Tyrese out. But once he comes back, his mouth is gonna water every time he sees Pascal Siakam running the floor. Because as a former guard and as a former point guard, there's nothing like seeing your big man run with you, because that just makes the defense scatter a little bit. And once that big man is running, you just want to pass the ball to him, because that's just momentum, and that's an easy layup. So
I mean, if Kyle Lowry loved playing with him, Tyrese is gonna love playing with Pascal. So okay, Indiana, great. Diba? Awesome.
That's an A. That's an A in my book.
A in Mookie's book. Now, Mookie, let's get to some teams that really have to make a move. And I'll start this off by stating the obvious, right? This is a team that we've previously talked about who need to do something drastic in the front office, or even in the roster. But I'm talking about the Golden State Warriors. It's high time for you to have a complete shakeup of whatever you have right now. And this is following the very saddening news that their assistant coach, Dejan Milojevic, died at the age of 46. He was hospitalized after a medical emergency during a team dinner. So, I mean, God rest his soul. Yeah. But, okay, Golden State, how many things have we named wrong with their season? Draymond Green, not in the right headspace. Andrew Wiggins, just looking like a shell of his former All-Star self. Klay Thompson, no longer a two-way threat. all signs are pointing to a tear down, Moke. And you know what? For the Warriors, as much as it hurts to break up that big three,
It's time.
I mean, sometimes you just have to do it.
Yeah, it's time. It's funny because I think every time we talk about the NBA on the show, we always bring up the Golden State, and it's gone from, oh, they're still a contender earlier in last year, and now we're here where they're rock bottom, literally rock bottom, and they need to dismantle their big three and their dynasty. So, I think the obvious move is to trade Draymond Green.
Yes.
I think that's a no-brainer for Mike Dunleavy now. It's gonna be really hard to find a team that needs a player like that. Not just, I mean, Draymond is Draymond. You don't say a guy's name twice, and there's like an iffy aspect when you say it that way. But he can still impact the game when he's in the right headspace. The first game he played, he returned. They lost to a Memphis Grizzlies team that had nobody except for Jared Jackson Jr. So that's not good. That just makes everything worse. That really just points to them just breaking this all up. So Draymond should be the first to go if you're Mike Dunleavy. And in terms of teams interested, I don't know. I don't know if there are any teams interested in Draymond.
I mean, like a certain group of teams might see Draymond as the final piece that they need. Right? You mentioned a while ago before we went on air the Lakers.
Yeah.
Probably. But I listed down some possible trades.
All right.
Okay? I listed down some possible trades, and I want to hear what you think about it.
Okay.
So last year, Bill Simmons actually suggested this, no? Draymond to Dallas, right? He could be that enforcer after looking out for Luka and Kyrie. So how about Grant Williams, who does a little bit of what Draymond does?
Yes.
Grant Williams, Josh Green in the future first.
I'm not sure if that makes Dallas any better than they are now, but you take a flyer on Draymond, and I think that's good culture-wise at least, because I think Draymond and Jason Kidd, respect each other. I think he'll listen. I think that's an important thing if you're trying to get Draymond on your team. You have to have a coach that will cater to him, not just, as a person, but as a player, very hectic player. So I think he'll be good there in Dallas, and he'll fit well with Luka, most definitely. Luka can play with anyone. So I'm not surprised there. But I think Golden State might not go along with it, since I don't think that's enough for Draymond. I think when they will try to trade Draymond Green, I think they will have not really lofty expectations of what they can get back, but they expect maybe an all-star or all-star caliber level player to replace him. So I'm not sure about that Dallas move.
Okay. Not sure about Dallas, but how about for your former Dallas Maverick? All right. Draymond to the Brooklyn Nets in exchange for Nick Claxton and Dorian Finney-Smith.
All right.
Now, Golden State gets a good wing defender,
Yes.
Dorian Finney-Smith, a free and D guy, and one of the most mobile bigs, mobile defending bigs in the league in Nick Claxton. Plus, he's young.
Yep.
That adds size that Golden State desperately needs.
Yes.
So what do you think about that?
I like that better than the Dallas one. I'm a big fan of Dorian Finney-Smith. I think he's just sitting in Brooklyn waiting for a contender to... Because Brooklyn's not really a contender right now. But they're just waiting for, someone to give, I guess, picks. Because Brooklyn doesn't have any picks anymore. But they want picks, I guess, for Dorian Finney-Smith. And I think Dorian Finney-Smith can be on a championship team, right? You talk about someone who plays defense, can shoot threes... Perfect for Golden State, perfect for Steve Kerr's offense and system. So that makes more sense. They also needed size, which Nick Claxton fills. Kevon Looney not really playing well this season. Dario Saric, however, is playing really well for them. That's one of the bright spots of their season. Him and the two rookies, and of course Steph. So, but you need another lanky defender, and Nick Claxton, might fill that role well for them. So, yeah, I like that role. I like that.
Okay.
I think Mike Dunleavy should call Brooklyn. Joe Tsai.
I mean, give it a call.
Yeah, give it just try. There's 3 weeks left. If they're 4 games under 500, Golden State are, and I think they want to make the play-in. Of course, they want to make the play-in for Steph's sake, but they really, really need those two players, or maybe a mix of those two players, like one player with those two, characteristics. But that Brooklyn deal, that's a good idea.
All right.
Yeah.
So Brooklyn, that's okay with you. Or how about this? I don't want to mention their names in the same sentence, but Golden State and Detroit.
Oh wow!
And Detroit, right?
I've seen a lot of Detroit.
So James Wiseman gets a mentor. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm talking about Bojan Bogdanovic.
Yeah.
Plus 2 firsts for Draymond. The Warriors might get a weapon on offense.
Yes.
Plus, you can flip the picks if you want another player.
Yep. Bojan Bogdanovic is one of the most highly sought after players right now. He's sleeping on the Pistons. He's doing nothing there. He's really just scoring, empty calorie stats because they're losing. But he's a veteran. He's been to a lot of playoff matches. He's been there. I think he's perfect for that Golden State type of play where veterans are welcomed. They need, not that they need leadership because they really sold a lot of their young players now, but they just need those people who know how to win, especially late in the season, which they really need now. This is like red alert for them. They've never been in this position before. So I like Bogey to the Dubs. I've seen a lot of rumors that they're trying. Maybe not Draymond. I've seen maybe they might get rid of Moses Moody or Jonathan Kuminga, so the young guys. But I think, I'd say pull the trigger if you're going to get Bogey back. He's really, really, he's 6'8". He doesn't look really big, but he can knock it down. He's a knockdown shooter, can play defense, and just the most important thing is that he has experience.
Right.
He has the pedigree, he has the experience, and that's all Golden State needs right now because they need to just rack up wins. They need to keep consistently winning, and I think Bogdanovic, after a losing spell like that in Detroit, is also thirsty to get back to a team that has a purpose, of winning, right? So he's gonna want to win there as well. So that makes a lot of sense.
And for his career, Bojan Bogdanovic has been a silently underrated,
Very solid player. Yes.
20-point scorer. Like, take a look at his stats. He scores 18 to 20.
Yeah,
Easy.
he's very solid. He can shoot the heck out of the ball, and when he's called upon, he can also make big shots. He's made big shots in the playoffs with Utah during his career there. So, Bojan Bogdanovic, he was also on my list of players, that can make moves if you're a contender looking for a piece. Bojan Bogdanovic is sitting right there in Detroit, so he's flexible anywhere. He can go to any of the contending teams or any of the teams that want to catch up, and he'll make a difference. He'll win you games.
Maybe he can whisper something to Klay Thompson's ear
Yeah,
about
right?
rediscovering your three-point stroke.
Yeah.
Well, when Klay Thompson desperately needs it now. All right, Golden State. We've mentioned some moves that they can possibly make.
Yeah.
Mookie, I shift the floor over to you. A team that has to make a move right now.
I'm gonna just talk about my Lakers.
Okay.
They're in bad shape. They've won their last 2 games against, I would say, good teams. They beat OKC the other day, and they beat Dallas this morning. I think those are steps in the right direction, but they're really, it's high time to make a move. There have been rumors these past few weeks about getting DeJounte Murray. I am very open to that move. I can't wait for it to happen. I'm calling it now. It's gonna happen. It's just a matter of who they want to give, and if there's a third team looking to make a move as well. But they just need scoring. There are some nights where you watch them and AD's been playing spectacular spectacular this season. Him and LeBron, they've been fantastic,
healthy.
and they're both healthy. That's why it's really strange for them. You know, they're 500 now. It's very strange. They've not missed. They haven't missed a lot of games, and Anthony Davis is. You know, he scored 30 points a while ago again. He almost got a triple-double. So it's alarming for them, for your two best players to play really, really well. They're going to be all-stars. Might be all-star starters, but, you know, the record's not there. So they really need scoring. I think the Gabe Vincent experiment failed. You know, he got injured, unfortunately, and when he played, he wasn't really an impact player. And as much as the D'Lo homecoming last season was really, really fun for lifetime Laker fans, I think, you know, it's time for him to move on once again. He's not really the player we expected him to be. And I think DeJounte Murray is a lot better than D'Angelo Russell right now. And to cap that off, DeJounte Murray played really well against the Magic this morning, and he hit the buzzer beater.
Okay.
So I think we really need a player like that. Just someone who can take the load off of LeBron and AD and can get a bucket, can get his own bucket. And yeah, DeJounte Murray. You can they're giving away picks, the two sought after 2027 and 2029 picks, Rui Hachimura and D'Lo. Those are the four assets that they're working with. So if you can keep Rui, all the more better. You can trade those two picks, and then we can get DeJounte and really just, you know, get the season a little bit. We can have a little bit more consistency this season.
After winning that in-season tournament, I was expecting LA to at least kick things up a notch. Like
Right?
this
Yeah.
would parang
Right.
winning a first, the historic first would be like a huge incentive to, hey, let's take things.
Yeah, let's
take things
go all
further.
the way. Yeah.
But like ever since that win, I don't know, they hit a lag or something. So again, LA, the DeJounte Murray edition
Yeah.
might do something.
It might do. It might also not do it. You know, LA's the city of bright lights might not exceed expectations, the lofty expectations that Lakers fans have. But I'm open to it. DeJounte Murray is really good. You know, we just need someone else to get this season back on track. And the more I hear about the news that, you know, it's getting closer and closer. They're talking more and more. The more I just think about that's a player LeBron can play with. He's a clutch sports guy. I like him better than Zach LaVine in terms of fit wise, because Zach LaVine's really he's just a pure scorer, not worth the contract. You know, very big contract. DeJounte Murray is a much more manageable contract for the Lakers. So, and younger too. So I'm really rooting for DeJounte Murray to go to LA.
Right. Okay. So you went with your Lakers. This time I'm going with my Spurs.
Yeah.
About DeJounte Murray, there's no chance that I'm going back with an X. Right?
Yeah.
No chance.
I heard. I saw those rumors too.
DeJounte Murray to the Spurs, I might not quite bite into that, but Mookie, there's another point guard in Atlanta that I'm
Yeah.
waiting for.
Yeah.
Right? There's another point guard right there who I'm waiting for, who it shows does not fit well with DeJounte Murray.
Right.
And he's in need of a much better situation because he's putting up great numbers in Atlanta.
No, Trae Young is an amazing player.
But Trae Young, Ice Trae, needs a brand new situation diba, for him. And okay, let's take a look at what went down 18 months ago. The Spurs traded DeJounte Murray to Atlanta. Atlanta thought like, okay, we can pair him up with Trae Young. Turns out it's a flop.
Yeah, not didn't go well.
But now the Spurs own Atlanta's first round picks in 2025 and 2027, thus the right to swap first in 2026. So, if I'm the Spurs, Atlanta's on the verge of imploding.
Right.
Anytime soon. Right? It's only Jalen Johnson who's
Doing really well.
doing really well right there. So, right now it's more of a buyer's market. Wait for it to turn into a seller's market. When Atlanta sees, okay, maybe it's time
The season
to,
shot, yeah.
diba, it's time to rebuild. And that's when San Antonio can pounce on Trae Young. Now, fit-wise, can you imagine pick and rolls, Trae Young and Victor Wembanyama? Would you ever dare to switch on that?
he expressed how well Victor Wembanyama plays. You know, they played I think a few days ago, and during the press conference, Trae Young was like, if I were Wemby's teammates, he would be the best player ever because. Like, I think he's a great point guard, an elite point guard. He knows when you have a big man like that, you give him the ball all the time.
Yeah.
You know, you feed him the ball. And Trae Young's a scorer, but he's also a very good assist man. He averages double digits assist every season. So he would salivate if he went to San Antonio and played with Vic Wembanyama because he's just so good. Wemby is so good. He's on limited minutes and he's still racking up double-double, 30-point, 10-rebound games. It's insane for a rookie. And, they badly need a point guard. San Antonio badly needs a point guard. The Jeremy Sohan experiment
Don't remind me about
is
that.
going nowhere. I don't know what Pop has been thinking. I don't know what he's trying to hard push with that rotation, but it's not working. They badly need a point guard who can just give the ball to Victor Wembanyama all the time. And Trae Young is the guy. He's also pretty young. So, if keep an eye on that for sure. Atlanta after the trade deadline, after the All-Star break, if they're still losing, there's new management there as well. You never know. You never know. They might just say it's time to rebuild, time to tear everything down.
I mean, Atlanta with Trae Young running point, he was throwing lobs up to John Collins and Clint Capella.
Yeah.
Imagine if he could throw lobs to Victor Wembanyama. Oh man,
Yeah.
that's gonna do some damage in the West.
Yeah. I think it would be like, it would be another level of the Giannis Dame connection a little bit because, we saw the impact Dame can have close games with this buzzer beater a few days ago as well. But Trae Young can do the same. And we saw Wemby go toe-to-toe with arguably one of the best big men of all time, Giannis. So, that comparison, if it happens, can be as impactful as, Dame and Giannis, immediately catapulting them to championship contenders right away if they team up. So, I'm open to it. That's more challenge in the Western Conference, I guess. But, I root for Wemby. He's a really, really exciting player and great for the sport.
Who badly needs a point
Who
guard.
badly needs a point guard. It's as a former player, it's just so annoying watching the Spurs because it's just he's right there. He's 7'4". All he needs is the ball.
I mean, Mookie, whatever they're doing right now with Jeremy Sohan, that's in fact hurting Wemby's development.
Yes.
No, I tell you.
It is.
Right? I mean, yes, you're getting him minutes. Yes, you're getting him
Yeah.
good stats. But in terms of, developing how you read the game, developing
How you move.
how you move on
Yeah.
the court, positioning wise, it's hurting his development.
It's hurting it because he's always in the middle. He doesn't get the ball. He wants to fan out. He wants to stay out. And if you're 7'4", if you're the coach, you want him to always be inside. Dominate inside, and no one's feeding him inside. So that's really a glaring problem. One of the worst problems, honestly, in the NBA right now is the lack of point guards in San Antonio.
Right. This just came to my mind how I was listening to Paul George's podcast and he had Ivica Zubac guest, and Zubac was telling him how James Harden after practice,
Yeah.
after every shoot around, they would spend 20 to 30 minutes just pick and
Just
roll.
pick and rolls.
Just
Yes.
practicing pick and roll.
Yeah.
Diba? I pass, you cut, you finish.
Yeah.
And imagine if Trae Young would just spend that much time with Wemby after each and every spurt practice. I mean,
You'd think that's a no-brainer for Pop to do that in San Antonio because, bro, that's just a pick and roll every time, you have a guy rolling like that, you just pass the ball to him high, that's
who's
it.
gonna catch it?
That's it. That's all you need. But, that's a great... James Harden is a great player as well, so Ivica Zubac has improved this season. The Clippers are on a roll right now as well, so, they have their stuff together. It's just really, really weird to see San Antonio just not do what we think, San Antonio is known to do. Develop young players really well, build around that piece the right way. They haven't we haven't seen it this season. So hopefully, Trae Young, if everything implodes like you said in Atlanta, I think San Antonio, they're the first to call automatically to see if Trae Young's available.
All right. So we went to the Lakers. We went with the Spurs. Mookie, who's up next on your list?
I'm going with another Western Conference team. I think the Sacramento Kings are in the middle right now. They badly need a trade. I would, the names that I have in mind for them are the two Bogdanoviches, which is funny because I think Bogdanovich came from the Kings. So if he's open to returning, why not? And another really good player in a bad team, much like Bojan Bogdanovic, Jeremy Grant on the struggling Portland Trailblazers.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Jeremy Grant is a piece. We saw what he did in the bubble with the Nuggets, almost being the third guy for them.
Yeah.
For them in the bubble, but the Kings badly need just another wing. Keegan Murray's really young, can shoot the three, but not really there yet. Harrison Barnes is getting old. He needs to move on to a different situation. And I think if you could flip Kevin Huerter, and who's fallen out of the rotation, by the way, Kevin Huerter used to be a starter. If you could package Kevin Huerter and Harrison Barnes for either of the Bogdanoviches or Jeremy Grant, that would be a really big help. Because if you trade those two to the Pistons, those are immediate veteran presences who's been to the playoffs, knows how to win, and at the same time, can teach some of those young players how to win. Because Harrison Barnes was a champion. He was a champion. I mean, that was 6 years ago, but that experience doesn't wear off. And Kevin Huerter with Atlanta has also made deep runs.
Yeah.
So I think if you're the Kings, you really need to be looking for those wings who can shoot, who fit De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis, who, by the way, I think Domantas Sabonis is deserving of an all-star spot. He's been playing really, really well also. So, yeah, the Kings, as much as they're the Lakers' rivals, as much as they're another Western Conference team, I want to get better. They just have a really nice roster, and it'd be a shame if they would just be always stuck in the middle, always losing in the first round. Because, they were the third seed last year. They only lost to Golden State because Steph Curry exploded for 50. But now Golden State is out of the way, so you solve that problem. You just need at least one more piece. Much like how Indiana will definitely exponentially get better with Pascal. If they get Bojan Bogdanovic or Jeremy Grant, I think they will be considered as one of the contenders in the Western Conference as well.
And you talked about Kevin Huerter. That favorite play of Sacramento, the dribble handoff between Huerter and Sabonis, it hasn't been working.
Hasn't been working. That's why he's been, that Malik Monk has been their go-to guy as of late. With him and De'Aaron Fox. So Kevin Huerter's almost become irrelevant there because of how well Malik Monk's been playing. So, but Kevin Huerter's still a piece. It's really just fit-wise he kind of fell off. But on the right team, he can be like what he was on Atlanta, who made some big shots for them. He was part of the reason why they beat Philadelphia in that 7-game series as well. So, I'm hoping they make the move. Jeremy Grant also is in need to be back on a winning team. He's been on Detroit and then now Portland. He's been on two, really cellar dweller teams. I really want him back to a contender where we've seen him play really well. He was the unfinished version of what Aaron Gordon was last season for the Nuggets. If Jeremy Grant stayed with Denver, that's who he could have been. Someone who could just always catch Jokic's passes and screen well for Murray and run the floor. Jeremy Grant can do those things as well. So if he goes to the right team, then he'll make that team's playoff chances go higher.
Right. If you're Sacramento, now is the time to make a move because, last year was a breakthrough story.
Yes.
You went back to the playoffs after 16
Mike
years.
Brown, Coach of the Year.
Are you satisfied with that?
Right.
But you can't be. You're already back in the mix.
Yeah.
Why not go all for it?
Look at Indiana, a small market team, but fearless in acquiring Pascal. They were not sure if he was gonna sign, but all points I think lead to Pascal Siakam will resign with them after this year. So if you're Sacramento and you find the right piece, I think you go for it because the league's only gonna get better. The bigger market teams will only get better, especially you're in the Western Conference. The Clippers are gonna be there. Everyone in your division are bigger market teams than you. So you will have to get players, from the peripheries who are capable of becoming championship or playoff level pieces for you.
Right. Mookie, just want to give a quick shout out to our listeners right now. Just want to greet my Tita Fe for tuning in. And of course, Father Nono, who is asking us, what's wrong with the Spurs and Lakers? They're about to get fixed, Father Nono.
They're about to get fixed.
They're about to get fixed. With
The Lakers are hopefully by next week, they get the guy, they get DeJounte Murray.
With the moves that Mookie and I are proposing out there.
Yeah.
So they're gonna get fixed. Anyway, to close out this part, Mook, let's shift things eastward.
Okay.
Where I think a player who I'm a real big fan of needs to be placed in a winning situation just because he deserves it. He deserves it. I'm a huge fan of the MJ Kobe player build, and following in that same mold is one DeMar DeRozan, who we've talked about before. Chicago for a while, he was they were contending in the East, but now things have fallen off. Chicago is on the verge of imploding. DeMar DeRozan looks really well in the red and black of the
Miami Heat. Yes. It's funny how we never mentioned Zach LaVine this time because I think he's just fallen off in terms of trade ideas. But DeMar DeRozan was their guy. He was their MVP level player for that, I think, 2022 season until he got hurt. But DeMar DeRozan on the Heat makes so much sense. You talk about someone who can maybe get them over the hump, get Jimmy Butler a little help, get Bam Adebayo a little help, and get them insurance for Tyler Hero in case. I'm assuming Tyler Hero will be part of that deal if it were to happen. So you get a replacement for Tyler Hero, but you get a
professional scorer,
just a lethal guy in the clutch, knows how to win in the playoffs, has made the conference finals multiple times. If you pair him with Jimmy Butler, those are a pair of killers right there.
Their wavelengths will just connect.
You talk about Miami already being feared by everyone in the East. Nobody wants to face the Heat in the playoffs. If you add DeMar DeRozan to that, I don't think people will fall in the standings just so that they won't meet Miami because they just know how to turn it on in the playoffs. You don't know how it happens, but their mindset just becomes we're the best team. Doesn't matter what we're here. We're in the playoffs. Doesn't matter if we have home court or not. We're gonna fight every game. So and DeMar fits that bill.
And he just exudes that Miami Heat ethos, of
Heat culture.
Work hard,
Yeah.
Play your ass off,
Yeah.
no drama, just ball. And this is what Miami sorely lacked in that finals run versus the Nuggets. They lacked some just a guy who could shift them to fifth gear.
Right.
I mean, when Jimmy Butler sits down, who's going to be your lead scorer? No one.
No one.
But now DeMar DeRozan, you get a guy who breathes buckets. This guy can just, if you let him attack from 18 feet in, you're dead.
I think also if you're looking at, of course, Boston because they're the team to beat in the East, you see those two, the duo matchup. I think that's a pretty fair matchup. Maybe obviously the other duos on the older side of their careers, but I think they're as good. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum against DeMar and Jimmy Butler are, that's a fair matchup.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna get that's buckets galore if they meet again in the Eastern Conference Finals. So that makes so much sense. I will hopefully, if it happens, that would also be a reunion for Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan.
Yep.
That would be really fun. That was a fun duo in Toronto. So yeah, I'm open to that too. Chicago really, they've gotten back on track ever since Levine got hurt. But now, Levine's back again. DeMar's, just pacing, looking. I think he obviously also wants to get traded, be in a situation where he can win. Considering where he is at his career, he wants to be back into playoffs one more time. And there's no other team to, join if you want to make a deep run than Miami, because they're gonna fight.
Right.
Bam Adebayo against any big man, doesn't matter if it's Joel Embiid, doesn't matter if it's Giannis, will fight for, Miami. So, and Jimmy Butler's Jimmy. Jimmy Butler becomes Michael Jordan in the playoffs. he becomes a whole different animal. So that's very exciting to think about Miami adding DeMar DeRozan.
And for Eric Spoelstra, he's the easiest guy you can coach.
Oh yes,
Easy to
easiest
coach.
guy. Just slot him in anywhere,
Right.
and people forget DeMar DeRozan, played with Kyle Lowry, but was also an integral part in developing, the younger guys like Pascal, like OG Anunoby, like Fred VanVleet, when they were still in the Raptors. So he's also a leader, and you need that kind of leadership in the playoffs, especially with Miami, who are known for picking these not so well-known guys and molding them into Heat culture players.
All right. So, I guess, Mookie, we've proposed a lot of possible trades. We've said who needs to go where, which
Yeah.
team needs to get whom.
Yeah.
And, we can't wait for the February 8th trade.
These next 3
trade
weeks,
deadline.
yes. These next 3 weeks, I'm so excited to just keep waking up to more news like how we did this morning with Pascal Siakam. So, this season's become really exciting in terms of parity as well. So I'm excited for the players to move around to see, who can jostle for seedings, and, even just the play-in race have gotten really interesting, because there are lots of underdogs who make the play-in, and then you want them to succeed as well. So I can't wait for the trades that are gonna happen these next 3 weeks.
All right. So, Mookie, we still have a little bit of time, and of course, it's playoff time in another league.
Yes.
And we just wanna, give
Yeah.
our quick thoughts about
Yeah.
what an exciting NFL wildcard weekend that was. Mookie and I will just go over some of the best games that we've witnessed, the standout performances that we've watched, and previews and predictions for the upcoming divisional round. I'll start off by saying, Mookie, as a Detroit native, Jalen Rose couldn't be happier because his hometown Lions beat the LA Rams 24-23, and what an amazing story. After 65 years of complete ineptitude in a span where the Lions only won a grand total of one playoff game, 2024, they are now officially back. What a comeback story, not only for the team, but I'm really rooting for this player, Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
When he was traded for Matt Stafford, he was considered a complete afterthought. He
Right.
was considered, like, in LA, a substandard quarterback.
Whom he brought LA to the Super Bowl but lost to the Patriots. And then when they traded him for Matthew Stafford, the Rams won the Super Bowl without him. So, he really was, he was just like the guy who couldn't get it done in LA. And when they traded him, that's when they got it done. So it's really good to see him beat his former team, But props to the Rams as well. A lot of the analysts were saying this was a rebuilding year for the Rams, and they still made it to the wild card round. So good for them. But Detroit played really well that game. Poised. It was a close game. I think the only close game in that wild card weekend. So Jared Goff was able to outplay Matthew Stafford because, Stafford got hit a little bit, got bumped around, but you can't deny that the Lions, just have been consistent the whole season. So I'm happy that they're, in the divisional round. Hopefully they can make it past. They're up against the...
Detroit is waiting for...
Are they up against... No, they're not up. Green
Check.
Bay? Who are they up against?
Right, Detroit is up against Tampa, who won against...
The Bucks. Oh,
against
I have them.
Philadelphia.
Lions are gonna beat the Bucks for sure.
Momentum
Yeah.
is on their side. But tell you what, Mook, about Jared Goff. 12 seasons, Matthew Stafford, quarterback, Detroit, and he was paired with the premier receiver that time, who was
Yes.
Calvin Johnson. And they just couldn't get over the hump in the playoffs. They
Yep.
always failed. So Stafford was beloved by the city of Detroit. He was really a fan favorite. But they traded him to LA. He won a Super Bowl over there. Now comes Jared Goff, who people think, what's he gonna do? I mean, he wasn't successful in LA, but on this playoff game, people in the stands were chanting his name.
Mhm.
Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Jared Goff. I mean, for an athlete to have a redemption story just like that, to be beloved for a city, beloved by a city. I mean,
You brought them the first win in 30 years. You automatically become a hero in that city. So he's really deserving of all the love, and hopefully he can continue. He can
Right.
continue this journey because you see, they win this game against the Bucks. They're in the and they're in the
NFC Championship
NFC Championship round, and they haven't been there in God knows how many years. So it's a success story this season for the Detroit Lions, and what a run for Jared Goff. Redemption story.
right. And speaking of teams making their playoff return, how about the Houston Texans making their postseason return in emphatic fashion, beating one of the best defenses in the NFL in the Cleveland Browns. And this was under the leadership of a young upstart rookie in CJ Stroud, who I am totally amazed. I mean, watching previous quarterbacks like Peyton Manning, even in the rookie year, they had lots of interceptions. They weren't as successful. But CJ Stroud, for me, Mookie, this is the perfect pairing of a system and a quarterback. I mean, Houston, earlier in the season, they did force CJ Stroud to, hey, you have to deliver at once. No, they let him grow into it.
I mean, rookie.
Diba? They let him grow into their system, be familiar with NFL defenses, and now facing the Cleveland Browns, where they were gonna play him straight up man. You fall at his mercy, because if you're playing him straight up man, CJ Stroud is gonna think this is obvious. The formation you're trying to bring me is obvious. So, but if you try to disguise a little bit here and there, bring in some zone concepts, now it's gonna confuse him. But I mean, Cleveland, I mean, you put out that kind of plan versus CJ Stroud. I mean, he's gonna take advantage.
He picked them apart. I also want to give a shout out to his coach as well, DeMeco Ryan, who is also a rookie head coach. Those two are delivering for the Texans right now, and they're up against the best team, arguably the best team this season, in the Ravens. So I can't wait to see how CJ Stroud matches up against that defense, exponentially better than the Browns defense. But I am so excited for CJ Stroud. He's a remarkable player, so much upside as well. He has made the Texans, destination, I guess, because you play with a quarterback as fearless as him, just a first-year guy, but he seems like he has it all down. You see all these young quarterbacks, and now the Texans are happy that they have their own. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch that game, and of course, I can't wait to watch the marquee matchup this weekend, which is, of course, the rivalry between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. That's gonna be round 3. Mahomes, Allen.
Two of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and it's gonna be round 3 and freezing once again.
Yes, it's gonna be sub-zero weather again in Buffalo. It's gonna be a battle. Andy Reid's mustache will probably get frozen again. So I can't wait. I can't wait to watch that game.
As for me, as a longtime Niners fan, I am really excited to see my 49ers take on the emerging Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers, who had an awesome win, the first 7 seed to take down the number 2 in the Dallas Cowboys. And for the Niners, it's simple. Can the vaunted 49er pass rush get to Jordan Love? Make him at least feel the pressure, feel the heat. I mean, beat him up a bit, if they could do that.
I mean, Dallas didn't really do anything against Jordan Love, so I think Jordan Love coming into this game will be very confident, having played a really, really good game against the Cowboys. But, like you said, the pass rush of the Niners are sensational this season. So let's see how this young, Green Bay looks like they have another Pro Bowl caliber quarterback. But let's see how he stacks up against the best defense, the best defense and the best pass rush.
All right, Mookie, before we end, quick picks. Over at the NFC, we got Tampa Bay, Detroit. You're taking Detroit.
I'm taking the Lions.
Me too. Kansas City and Buffalo.
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. On the road as well. Chiefs on the
I might have to
road.
disagree.
You're gonna go with Buffalo.
I'm going with Buffalo. This time I'm giving it to Josh Allen.
I don't think Josh Allen has ever won against Pat Mahomes in the playoffs, so
Might be a first.
first.
Right. Okay, over now to the AFC. Houston and Baltimore.
Oh, I'm gonna go with the Ravens on that one. I think Lamar Jackson will further cement. I think he's on his way to win his MVP again.
The road might end for CJ Stroud, but nevertheless, great story.
Great story.
And San Francisco, Green Bay, you know who I'm picking.
I think it's the Niners as well. They have
Alright.
it all the way.
So can't wait for that. And that is where we end our episode of Radyo Katipunan Sports on this Thursday afternoon. Thank you so much again to the hardworking production team behind RK. Thank you to my co-anchor as always, Mookie B. We talked about lots of stuff today.
We went through all the news in the NBA and we made our picks for the NFL playoffs. So really jam-packed episode, like you said.
Right, and most of all, thank you to all our listeners, the Blue Eagle Nation, for tuning in and supporting Loyola Heights' #1 sports radio show. Guys, please send in anything, your comments, greetings, feedback. Mookie and I will be happy to get back to you. Once again, this is Anthony saying goodbye, one big fight. See you again soon. We're going to be back here. Peace.
Welcome to RK Sports, where we take you right into the action with the highlights, insights, and analysis of the sports scene in, around, across, and beyond the Ateneo. With your hosts, Anthony Perez and Mookie Borja. Katipunan. Game on.